I was raised to believe people should treat each other right, but a lot of the times they don't. Why won't you take care of your customer?
What part of your job's done didn't you understand?
Well, see, because you don't tell me my job's done.
You're not a real taxi. Can you tell us who you're with?
They'll lie, cheat, and steal from you. Sir, we'd like to talk to you about possible prosecution for selling a stolen car. They think nobody cares.
Okay, turn the camera off right now.
I care, and that's why TrustDALE investigates. When you win a prize by doing everything right, it's wrong when the sponsor changes the rules to keep you from collecting. On this show, we tackle real consumer problems, hold people accountable, and make consumers whole. We call our first story, Gimme My Title. Hi there. I'm Dale Cardwell with TrustDALE Investigates. How are you?
Fantastic.
Good to see you. This is Natasha Pearson. We're here to see if we can collect her free car. It's a car Natasha Pearson says she earned.
They advertise, buy, send 4 referrals in, and you get your title. We sign your title over free and clear. There were no stipulations, there were nothing.
She sent at least 7 friends to buy cars at this used car dealership, Sports and Imports Autos, where in return for 4 referrals, the dealership would pay off Natasha's own car loan.
I want to do my job, which was refer the people. I did that. And I just want the compensation. I want what you advertise. You advertise a free car, and I want mine.
The promotional campaign to get your car title is very simple. According to their own salesman, get $250 cash for each referral, and on the 4th referral, the dealership will pay off your car loan.
So you come in, get a vehicle with us, man. As long as you refer 4 friends, you get your vehicle absolutely free. On us, title in hand, sign off and all, man. So
she has proof of her referrals, including receipts, thank you notes from the dealership, and even photos of her friends with the cars they purchased. So why hasn't the dealership lived up to its end of the deal?
I don't know. I don't have a title for it yet.
For several months, Natasha has demanded answers, but instead of giving her answers, they're giving her the runaround by detouring her efforts into worthless voicemail dead ends. So she filed a lawsuit against Sports and Imports, hoping it would drive the dealership into honoring its part of the bargain.
And then they try to trap you in with the arbitration agreements and stuff like that. But this is a referral program.
With more roadblocks in front of her, Natasha is warning others.
I feel like if I don't speak out about it, they're going to continue to do it. If I would have continued to keep paying them, they would just keep taking my money. And I feel like there's people out there on the internet who knows about this company, and I want to reach all of them.
We're seeking answers as well. When we come back, I'll show you what happens when Natasha and I get out of our cars to walk into the dealership and ask a few questions with cameras rolling. After you.
Some kids in need.
Have damage from recent storms or just an old worn-out roof? Trust the experts. Roof It Forward is recognized in the industry as one of the largest residential roofing companies in the entire Southeast and donates a portion of every job to fight childhood cancer. Call today to schedule a free video roof inspection.
ARAC, Roof It Forward helps some kids in need.
Think soap and water is the best way to clean natural stone? My research shows that's just not so. I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell. To maintain your natural stone's beauty, don't just clean it, Stanley Steam it. The same company you trust for floor, tile, and duct cleaning also cleans your stone surfaces. Natural stone is very porous, meaning it absorbs stains and spills just like carpet. Stanley Steamer knows it takes a delicate touch to properly clean, preserve, and protect your investment naturally. For all your stone surfaces, it's simple. It's Stanley Steamer. Welcome back to TrustDALE Investigates, where we're looking for answers, trying to get this car dealership to give Natasha the title to her car. Okay, so you're a nice guy. She's about to become your worst nightmare, and you shouldn't be having to deal with this. And the employees who had been resisting Natasha's request for help fled like cockroaches when our investigative team entered the showroom, possibly trying to avoid a showdown. That's not good customer service. This car dealership set up an appealing promotion, encouraging customers to bring in new clients to help with sales. That's a smart move because getting foot traffic through the door can be harder than making a sale. And Natasha is very good at bringing in new customers, so much so that Sports and Imports decided to change the rules of the game. The car dealership's attorney explained there should have been a clause in the promotion saying each new buyer needs to keep up on their payments, but there wasn't any provision stating that. So when Natasha met her car title quota, he basically changed the rules of the game, and his argument ran out of gas.
She'd made a number of referrals to the dealership here, well more than the number that required, and she's having a hard time getting her car.
They advertise by send 4 referrals in and you get your title. We sign your title over free and clear. There were no stipulations, there were nothing.
Remember, she referred more than 4 friends and has letters from managers thanking her for the referrals. And she even got the gift cards from the dealership. But Sports and Imports Auto still won't hand over her car title. Makes me wonder if they've ever honored this promo.
Can you get back to here? Here's my card, because I'm going to be waiting for your phone call so you can give me a tally of how many free cars you guys have awarded.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just as Natasha predicted, the dealership never called back, but she still has a lawsuit filed against them. But after our visit to the dealership, they decided to take a different route by settling the lawsuit to avoid a collision in court.
Yay! Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
It was a long time coming, but Natasha and our TrustDALE team don't give up.
Because sometimes people think they can just get over on consumers, and if you don't have some backup, like I did because I contacted you guys, I would not be standing here with my title right now.
What does this mean? This means you own the car free and clear.
Well, I own the car with sweat, tears, and determination, and you guys in tow.
And of course, Natasha has a message for companies that think they don't have to play by the rules.
I just want to say to people out there with businesses, if you're going to advertise it, just stand up to it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
We at TrustDALE applaud companies that do the right thing and stand by the fair rules of the game. But we'll go after those that don't. Coming up, we'll show you what happens when one insurance company tries taking shortcuts on a roof repair, and how TrustDALE Investigates helps the policy owner finally get a better night's sleep.
I'm losing a lot of sleep over it, and I have become, I guess you would say, obsessed with it.
ARAC, moving forward helps some kids in need.
Have damage from recent storms or just an old worn-out roof? Trust the experts. Roof It Forward is recognized in the industry as one of the largest residential roofing companies in the entire Southeast and donates a portion of every job to fight childhood cancer. Call today to schedule a free video roof inspection.
ARAC, moving forward helps some kids in need.
I'm Sharon Hess.
And I'm Kurt Hess, and we own Mommy Management, a personal assistance company.
Our clients need every service under the sun, from plumbing to painting, even pet grooming. So it's important to hire the right company the first time. That's why we use TrustDALE.
TrustDALE companies are local and meet a transparent 7-point investigative standard and never require our clients' personal information. And the best part, every recommended company is backed by Dale's Make It Right guarantee.
They've done the research, and it's free for you at TrustDALE.
Welcome back to TrustDALE Investigates. When a homeowner's roof was damaged in a storm, instead of repairing the damage, the homeowners say their insurance provider conjured up a shifty solution to the problem.
I'm losing a lot of sleep over it, and I have become, I guess you would say, obsessed with it. I cannot get it off my mind. It's affecting my nerves, and it's made me very angry.
Patricia and John Daniel are still in the middle of a storm, Hurricane Irma, that hit more than a year ago. Strong winds made their way through the southeast, and the Daniels' entire neighborhood took a beating.
When the hurricane came through, there were sustained winds, about, it seems like from memory, it's about 60 or 65 mile-an-hour winds.
several shingles flew off their home's roof and into their yard. So they contacted their insurance company, the Hartford. It's been a construction work zone on their street, as nearly 1/3 of the roofs in the Daniels neighborhood had to be entirely replaced, because when powerful winds flip a shingle upward, old and brittle shingles become ruined. So the Daniels asked their insurance company to reopen their case to have a closer look at the roof and see if they too had the same problems. The Daniels say after sending several estimators and dragging their feet, the insurance company had a proposal. Rather than replacing the roof, they wanted to, get this, harvest good-looking shingles from the back of their house and move them around to the more visible, needed areas.
It makes no sense to take those damaged 13-year-old roof shingles and move them to the front. It doesn't make any sense, and we're not going to do that.
In a stalemate with their insurance company, John and Patricia contacted our team at TrustDALE, and we suggested the need for this guy.
It was rather difficult when I got involved.
Tim Varga is a public adjuster, and he's the type of guy the Daniels needed in their corner.
And a public adjuster's job is to represent the insured in negotiating with the insurance company, both on the policy's coverage language and then fair and equitable values in order to fix the damage according to the policy.
We reached out to the Hartford for their explanation of why they wanted to harvest shingles and move them around the roof. Their spokesperson told us, generally speaking, when wind damage requires a roof to be replaced, we estimate the cost based on providing new roofing materials of the same type and quality to those that were damaged. We are working closely with our customer and his public adjuster to resolve this claim. However, we take the privacy of our customers' information seriously and as a practice do not discuss specifics of individual claims. But after many long email chains, inspections and investigations, countless phone calls, and infuriating denials, the Daniels finally have achieved success. And now they have a brand new roof. For legal purposes, we're not privy to the details of the settlement, but we're pretty sure it's good news. Let's go back to Tim Varga now. As I mentioned with the Daniels insurance dispute, I suggested they hire a public adjuster. Tim, you're one yourself, so tell us, what does that mean?
That's a very good question, Dale. A public adjuster is a licensed individual under the state of Georgia's requirements for the interpretation of insurance policies, complying with Georgia regulations for fair claim settlement, interpretation of policy, and they represent the insured in those processes specifically.
I know public adjusters are able to help negotiate an insurance claim as a liaison that can also help take the stress out of a fight with an insurance company. But Tim, when does someone reach the point of knowing they should hire one?
The public adjuster is most effective when they're part of the claim from the start. It's hard to fix something that's already been broken. So to have a public adjuster involved, the right time for that public adjuster is when you feel that your home or your property has sustained damage and you want to know whether or not your insurance policy is entitled to pay for that damage. So the best time really to get a public adjuster involved is at the beginning.
Tim Varga, a public adjuster with Catastrophic Consulting. We appreciate your time.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure working with you all, and love to be an information resource for everybody.
Next, this could happen to you.
They're taking people's money for the transmission, but they don't cover a transmission because the torque converter will always be broke. When anything breaks, it's always going to break, and they're always going to say, we don't cover it.
A warning about third-party warranties you need to hear. Think soap and water is the best way to clean natural stone? My research shows that's just not so. I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell. To maintain your natural stone's beauty, don't just clean it, Stanley Steam it. The same company you trust for floor, tile, and duct cleaning also cleans your stone surfaces. Natural stone is very porous, meaning it absorbs stains and spills just like carpet. Stanley Steamer knows it takes a delicate touch to properly clean, preserve, and protect your investment naturally. For all your stone surfaces, it's simple. It's Stanley Steamer.
Chuck just got his paycheck. and 25% was garnished, all because he couldn't pay a creditor. But Chuck got a letter from Clark and Washington, too. They know about his situation, and they're offering a free consultation with an attorney. They've even fronted Chuck the money to file bankruptcy and stop the garnishment. Call us at 770-488-9300 or visit CW13.com to schedule your consultation today.
Welcome back to TrustDALE Investigates. Have you ever considered purchasing an extended warranty for your car? It's big business, and some people consider extended warranties to be good investments to cover unforeseen expenses on older vehicles. But sometimes these warranties can be misleading, making you believe you're covered for something that you're really not. Pay attention, because this could happen to you.
I wanted my transmission and my engine covered in my truck.
So Alicia Wheeler purchased an extended warranty for her family car from Endurance, one of the nation's largest extended warranty companies.
They said it was a premium and it was $3,200, and that it would give me, I think, 75,000 miles and 4 years.
Within a year, her Suburban's transmission died.
I mean, literally, I was like jumping up and down, told my husband, like, we're good, it's the transmission, but we're good, so don't worry about it, you know.
But Alicia did have reason to worry, because she was about to find out her extended warranty wasn't what she thought it was.
The warranty company said, we don't cover the torque converter. And I said, what's a torque converter? And I started calling transmission companies, specialists, and asking them, is this part of the transmission? And they're like, yes, that's the biggest part of the transmission. I realized that I'm getting duped here.
Speedy oil change and auto service expert Jerome Bernal says it's a common complaint he hears from transmission customers who have third-party warranties.
They don't take the time to explain, okay, when it comes to this part of your warranty, transmission, understand that your torque converter and possibly your valve body are not part of what we call inside the case. But they don't explain that.
Jerome says although his shop works well with companies offering third-party warranties, it's difficult to get the insurance company to cover the costs.
So it's all in the writing, how it's written, how you and I perceive it, and then they might perceive it a different way. So it's always a struggle to figure out if they will or won't cover it. That's why I would never purchase one.
Alicia had the dealership and the warranty-approved transmission shop break down the engine to evaluate the cause. Both concluded the oil pump failed, causing the entire transmission to break down. But Endurance still denied her claim.
They're taking people's money for the transmission, but they don't cover a transmission because the torque converter will always be broke. When anything breaks, it's always going to break, and they're always going to say, we don't cover it.
After dealing with this back and forth for nearly 5 weeks, Alicia was pretty peeved, prompting her to look into Endurance's reputation. Online, she found numerous complaints about the company. That's when Alicia decided to beat them at their own game, and she started recording her communication with Endurance's service representatives.
At this point in time, the lies started coming. I mean, they would tell me that I said things I didn't say. They told me that I was hearing things that didn't happen. They would say, ma'am, these are recorded, like I'm lying to them. At one point in time, they admitted that it was the pump and that they were going to cover it.
But they didn't.
And they said, ma'am, that never happened. We never said that to you.
But Alicia took those calls to Endurance's insurance company. And within days, she got word that everything was covered.
They paid for the torque converter, they paid for everything. This is after I sent the recorded conversations. Without those recorded conversations, I would be nowhere. They would deny everything that they had said. They would call me a liar, and it was my word against their word.
We did reach out to Endurance multiple times to get their comment on Alicia's case, but as of this airing, we've not heard back from them. It goes without saying, Alicia was a smart consumer, and there's a lesson to be learned from her experience, because this could happen to you. Just ahead.
On the incident report, it said clearly there was an X marking that their driver was at fault and therefore Eagle Parking was responsible. But since this is a private property, the officer couldn't give the valet a citation.
What you need to know before you park your car in a private parking lot. consumer investigator Dale Cardwell, and this is consumer news we can use. If you own a car, you've probably thought about motor oil at least once or twice. But unless you're a gearhead, you might be confused by all the different types of motor oils that are on the market. We asked the experts at Haviland Express Lube to help debunk the most common motor oil myths. What's the difference between synthetic oil and conventional oil?
Synthetic oil is a man-made oil where it's going to help with higher temperatures, it's going to help with deposits in the engine, it's also going to help you have a cleaner running engine. Conventional oil is a very good oil too, but with the synthetic oil you really are going to get more performance out of your engine, better fuel economy, and extended drain intervals.
Your vehicle just takes conventional oil.
Yeah, but I'm getting up there in miles. Does that matter?
How many miles are we talking about?
140,000.
Yeah, you're up there a little bit. I would recommend using the Haviland high mileage motor oil. It's going to help loosen up the seals because they're probably dry rot and cracked. Just like when your hands crack and you put lotion on them, the lotion will help. That's what the high mileage motor oil is going to do for the engine.
Let's do it today.
Great, we'll get it done.
Okay.
Oil's full, clear drain bay 2.
People get all wigged out over the W factor in oil. Should I even worry about that?
When you look at an engine oil like a 5W30, the 5 in W, where W represents winter, is what your oil is expected to flow at lower temperatures. The second number is what the oil is going to flow at when it reaches operating temperatures.
So I need to bring it to you guys because y'all know all that stuff and I don't want to know it.
Absolutely, Dale. Bring your car to us, let us be the experts, and we'll keep you on the road.
And this is consumer news we can use.
To find trustworthy and certified companies like this, go to TrustDALE.com. And remember, every TrustDALE company is backed by the Make It Right guarantee.
When you step out for a bite to eat, chances are you don't think about whether the place you're being invited to park is on public or private property. But for Alessandra Ribeiro, parking at this popular eatery cost her a lot more than the Blue Plate Special.
What is a police report for if a company like Eagle Parking can just disregard it completely?
But that's exactly what one parking company is doing, refusing to pay for damage done in a fender bender involving their valet.
And I was waiting to park my car, and while I was waiting, Eagle Parking's valet driver backed another customer's car into the rear of my car.
Alessandra hopped out of her car to investigate.
You know, the driver came out, I talked to him, and I said, "What the heck? Did you not hear me?" And he was like, "No."
So she called the police to write a report in order to get it on the record. She also took a bunch of photos with her smartphone. In her mind, she did all the right things.
The police officer recognized that the valet was at fault. In fact, he even said that he was going to give the valet a citation because the valet attempted to lie and place the guilt on me when in fact it was clear from the position of the car, etc., that the valet was at fault. But since this is a private property, the officer couldn't give the valet a citation.
According to the Georgia Traffic Code, which is pretty much universal across the U.S., a traffic offense can only occur on public roads, which means the government has no authority on private property, unless, of course, it's reckless driving, a DUI, or vehicular homicide. But since Alessandra had an incident report clearly indicating the valet was at fault, you'd think it was just a matter of time until the valet's company paid her for her repairs, right? Wrong.
Clearly in the police report, it says that your valet driver was the one at fault.
I disagree. The liability will not necessarily fall back on Eagle Parking, and that's because there are no witnesses. And there are two statements from two different people.
But sir, you did pay for the vehicle that your valet driver was driving.
Yes.
Why did you, if your driver was not at fault, then why did you not send that paperwork to her insurance company?
Because whenever there is nobody listed at fault, it becomes a 50-50 deal, and the drivers are responsible for their vehicle. So since our driver was in that vehicle, we paid for that vehicle.
Looking at it right here, it says suspect at fault, and there's an X by your employee.
Suspected at fault.
Really? Suspected?
That's not what the police department told us. They said, based on their investigation, driver 1, the valet, is at fault. But instead of taking responsibility, Alessandra says the company is having her jump through hoops in an attempt to avoid responsibility.
And I find it very dishonest and frustrating.
What do you think about a company that can treat people that way?
I don't think it's a company that should be in business.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing. We're disappointed with their reaction so far. The Atlanta police made it very clear to us that the valet driver scored an 18, which essentially means he was at fault. You scored a 1, which essentially says you were in your car. That's all you were doing. In fact, we're so disappointed that TrustDALE is going to cover your deductible so that you can get your car fixed.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And we're happy to report Alessandra's car is back on the road and repaired. But she's still grappling with the valet company's insurance provider to get them to accept responsibility for the bill. Engaging with you is an important part of all our investigations, and we're interested to hear what you have to say on our Facebook page. Plus, we want to answer the consumer questions you have. Our first question is from Dina. Dina writes, my son will age off the family health insurance this year. I've received faxes from a company I found on a healthcare plan website, and I got an exact rate for him that sounds decent for a young man with no medical issues. But is it too good to be true? Great question, Dina. My advice is to visit the State Department of Insurance and do an agent search to find out if the agent has a license and is in good standing. Another resource is the website insurancefraud.org. There you can find out about the latest insurance scams. Greg writes, the problem I have is collecting a judgment against a pawn shop. They sold my jewelry before the maturity date was up. I won the case, but it's been 7 years and still no money. That's tough, Greg, because even OJ still owes people money from his civil trial. First, you need proof of judgment from small claims court. Bring it to your local sheriff's office, and they can help you with one of 3 options: a bank levy, wage garnishment, or a real estate lien. Go get them. Now, here's what some of you had to say on Facebook for Gimme My Title. So many of you rallied behind Natasha, offering congratulations. And Tim says, awesome job, TrustDALE. Thank you for always standing up for the consumer. Tim, I always will. For shingle shifting, we got wow emojis from Dave, Manuel, and Lloyd. Yeah, it's hard to believe, all right? But we're glad everything's working out for the Daniels. As for parking hazards, Ken says, bravo. Ken, thanks for being a friend of the show. Helping people find solutions to seemingly unsolvable consumer problems is what we do. If you have a consumer problem you think is unsolvable, let us know and keep up with us on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube page. I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell. We'll see you next time TrustDALE Investigates.